All right, testing. Yeah, there we go. Recording. All right, we're gonna pull up the project here. Where is it? D drive. Oh my gosh, load. Aha. Yeah, so last time we were talking about interfaces, and that allows you to send messages back and forth between different blueprints, but it doesn't matter what type they are, as long as they're listening on that radio channel, basically, right?
Yep.
Those are good to kind of daisy chain things together, right? Well, today what we're going to look at is how to set up something called an event dispatcher. And event dispatchers are really cool. Basically, it's the same kind of effect, but you can have other blueprints kind of subscribe to that channel and then listen and have other things run. So it's kind of indirect communication. It's almost kind of like, was that game Simon Says or whatever? What? Simon Says do this. Or did y'all ever do that game in school? It was like this, like that. Did y'all ever do that? What? Okay, I'm old. Okay. Like if you put, so if I went like this, everybody does this. Put your right arm like this, yeah, like this, like this. Yeah. Now if they say like that, and then that person's out. Yeah, that's the. Anyways, I don't remember where I was going with that.
Like Simon Says.
Yeah, like Simon Says. Yeah. Oh, we were having fun for you were having fun for us. I'm so glad you were having fun. Oh, I forgot we made a TIE Fighter last time. That's cool. Distracted. All right.
Rebels win.
All right, I'll bring it back. So, yeah, remember we had like a pressure pad, right? When you walk into it, we had targets here, right? And then it's using our interface, and we have like the little eyedropper turkey baster connecting it to another blueprint. And when you walk through it, it does something, right? Now, there's another way for blueprints to talk together, and that's by using event dispatchers. So we're going to look at another blueprint today that's in a little bit different spot. You don't actually create it. It's attached to your level, and it's called a level blueprint. So if you go up here to blueprints at the very, very top, go down to where it says open level blueprint. All right? I don't know if you can see it down the bottom corner of my screen. It says level blueprint in big gray text, right? So you can tell where you're at. So what does the level blueprint do? Well, anything that's inside of your map, you can send messages to them and have them do things, right? You can do logic that's specific to this level. Why haven't we used this before? 2 reasons. One, you can't use this logic in another map. Why is that?
Is it on the level?
It's only on the level, right? Yeah, it's level specific. We could technically copy all the nodes in here and putting them into another one, but why would you do that? You know, that's kind of a waste of your time if you could turn that into an actor, right? Turn that into a simple system instead of having to copy this and put it into something else. But for very specific scenarios, a level blueprint, or if you create another something that's similar to a level blueprint, you can do level scripting. So you can listen for when things happen and then spawn off an event, right? So for example, does anybody play Gears of War?
Yeah.
You play Gears of War? Okay. So in Gears of War, in the first couple games, you usually get to a section, right? You walk through a trigger, it says press Y or whatever, and then you look up and you're like, oh, look, the helicopter's crashing. So that was a whole sequence, right? And then they had a sequence for the music kind of ramping up, and they called a stinger. It's like, like that or whatever. And then like the locusts, is that what they're called? Yeah, locusts start coming out of the ground, so and they call them emergence holes or whatever. And then you have to fight them off and throw your grenades in there and get rid of them, right, and go to the next section. So how are all those different things connected, right? They could be daisy chained, right? To know when, hey, this goes off, and then that goes off, and this goes off, and that goes off. If you need a little bit more control and do something very, very specific, that's what this is for. So what we're going to do is let's go and find our blueprints folder down here. And let's go down to, let's see, the trigger base. Okay, let's open that up. Now, does everybody see this part here?
Trigger base.
Yeah, in the event graph it says trigger activated, right? Trigger deactivated, so that's when we walk inside of it and then we walk out, right? And then we have our list of targets over here, right? And it's looping through those, right? That's what the for loop. Specifically, this one is for each loop. Everything in this list here, this array, go through all of those and send them all a message, right? So once that's done, it goes down to completed. So we're going to make this trigger base good in two scenarios. One is that you can daisy chain events. So you walk into it and I went bam, 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 those things that happen. Another way to use it is we can create an event dispatcher, which is down here in the bottom left, and then we can have the level blueprint or something else listen for when that happens. So it's kind of subscribing and listening for when that fires, right? So what I'm going to do down here is where it says event dispatcher, go ahead and create a new one, and then we're going to type on activated dispatch. I usually like type some words like on or event something, just that way you don't confuse it with some of your other functions and events in the graph, like these other things, right? You don't want to have them the same name, so if it says on or dispatch on it somewhere, it's easier to find and know what it's doing. All right, so on this completed part here, just drag that into the graph. What options do you get?
All bind, unbind all.
Event assign. So there's a lot of options, right? Just click call to start with. And then hook it up to completed, and then hit compile. Everybody's turned green? That green check mark? Good. So what we are essentially doing is this is an SOS signal. So imagine if our trigger base is slowly sinking into the ocean, they send out a SOS. You don't know what that stands for, right? Save our ship. Save our ship. What is the Morse code? Is it 3 long and then 3 short and then 3 long?
What do we look like?
Like that? Or is it reverse? Long, 3 short, yeah. Everybody, okay, so everybody knows how to stay safe if you're on a sinking ship, right?
We're in Texas.
Huh? That and I was a Boy Scout, so. That was
You're telling me to do CPR, not that.
CPR, yeah. They're doing the staying alive, you know. Yeah, staying alive. You gotta crack some ribs, yeah. All right, so we have our SOS, right? Now, if you go into the map, right, and let's say we walk through our trigger, right, which this is essentially based off this, our pressure pad we made last time, it's not going to do anything other than just activate and deactivate whatever we have in here, right? And that's not really the point of a dispatcher. The point is that we're listening for when that happens, and then something else will trigger after that happens. So if I click on, let's say, my pressure pad, right, and the map, and then I go to my level blueprint, right, so if you have a tab of it somewhere, right, so it's selected, come into here, right click, you see we have a couple of other options we don't have with regular blueprints. It says add event for BP pressure pad or whatever you have selected, right, call function, and then create a reference. So you can talk to that blueprint from this kind of a higher level umbrella area. And the one that we want to do is add event for BP pressure pad, right? And then default, and you should see your dispatcher right here. Everybody find that? No? Do you need to get good? Okay. Make sure you hit compile on the trigger base. Yeah, event, add event, default. Should see it there. All right, go ahead and add it. And I need to turn off my phone. All right. Hang on. There we go. All right. So now what do we want to do, right? It created an event for us. Well, we could do whatever we wanted, right?
Take it away, whatever.
Yeah. So just for to make this interesting, type in this. Launch character. And then turn off context sensitive. And it should be right here. Like that.
But launch character.
Yeah.
Turn off the context sensitive.
Mhm. I have no idea. What do y'all think it's gonna do?
It's gonna give us roses.
Oh. How nice. For the target, let's do get player pawn.
Would it be the same as the active location or no?
Oh wait, hang on. I'm sorry, not get player pawn. Get player character. I think this is the wrong type. There we go.
Get player character?
Yeah, get player character. Player index 0 is player number what?
No.
Uno.
Oh, that's for target. Okay.
So I typed in get player pawn and I tried to put it in here and it didn't like it. Why?
Because pawns are multiple characters in the game.
Character is a very specific type of pawn, and a pawn is a type of an actor. So your base blueprint type is an actor, and then a pawn is something you can control, and then a character has its own properties for walking and flying and do all that stuff, right? Taking control of it. All right, now Z, be careful with this number. You can be as, Michael, what did we set ours to?
500. I want to say 500.
Be careful with this number. Just saying. Now, if you go into your map, hit compile and save, and then go into your map and see what happens. And, oh God! Whoa. Whee. Oh my God! Am I still going? No. Here we go. Everything that comes up must come down. Boo. All right. So it launched me in the air. Now, will all of the pressure pads do that?
No?
No. Why?
Or did you have the dragon windows?
Why won't, if I added another pressure pad, why won't it do it? It's calling this specific one. Yeah. And the reason is, we're listening for when that specific dispatcher is fired and then somebody picks it up, right? It picks up our SOS signal, and then we can do whatever we want afterwards.
Oh.
Pretty handy.
That's why it wasn't working.
Pretty handy.
Oh, it was working.
To this part here? Yeah. I'm gonna get where yeah, this one. Alright. So we added it here, right? Our dispatcher to the trigger base. Wherever we wanted to call it, you pull a pin off, say call. And then once you select it in the map, right? Blueprints, open level blueprint. You right click, and as long as context sensitive is turned on, you should have options for whatever you have selected in your map. And there's all sorts of things. They have other ones that are built in, right? So like, let's say actor begin overlap, end overlap, hit. There's the one that we did, right? It's under add event default on activated dispatch. You could do when it's damaged, when it's destroyed. So there's a built-in damage system. So if you type in apply damage, right, and you tell it what blueprint is damaged, right here, and then the amount and who did it, basically, kind of the clue style. On the other side, you can do, hey, did I receive damage? Yes. How much? And by whom? With what? So Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with a spoon, right?
Were you supposed to do something to the dispatcher? Because mine isn't launching.
Did you go and pull it into your trigger base and say call?
Yeah, trigger base right here. Call on active dispatch.
On completed. It's connected to completed. Hook it up to completed.
Right here.
This one. Go back. Where's dispatch?
Right here.
Okay, move that over here. Yeah, completed.
Oh.
When it's done.
Oh.
Yeah. Completed.
Where it's valid.
No, we're not hooking up to this valid. That's just to check to see if all of our things that we want to activate are actually there.
I see what you mean now. Okay.
So when it's done, we just do this once, right? And then you click on it in the map, right click here, add an event, and there it is, right?
There we go. Thank you.
So, can anybody give me an example of why this would be useful?
So you can do a lot of cool stuff and not have a lot of different places for it.
Use it as a launch pad for one.
We can use it for launchpad. Yeah, you go. Okay, there's one. What else could you use this for? Spawning.
Yeah,
What else?
Allowing one blueprint to do multiple things.
Yeah,
Pretty much do anything.
we pretty much, yeah.
Make it
So-
switch lanes, whatever you want.
Yeah. For example, in Solar Purge, we have a enemy spawner. You walk into a zone and it starts spawning enemies, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other day, somebody asked if, hey, instead of basing the spawner on time, so like zone 1 spawn, zone 2 spawn, zone 3 spawn, can we base it on by the number of kills? So what we did was we added a system built into the enemy spawner. It gives, as soon as an enemy spawns, it says, hey, here's your card, right? Remember this number. And they're like, okay. And when the enemy dies, it sends it back to the spawner. And then they give their card, and then they give them what number it is, like what zone. And when the number of enemies that were spawned equals number of enemies killed for that zone, it sends off a dispatcher. So we know when each zone is wiped. So you can do something else. So like, hey, zone 1 was wiped. How about we spawn these other zones over here? That's easy mode. You don't want to spawn them all at the same time. And technically you could. But that's one way that we're using that. Another example is, let's say if we wanted to have a cutscene fire off, right? We could have an event dispatcher. It's like, I'm gonna walk through this trigger, and then we're gonna change cameras, right? And then we're gonna have another system for it to be able to. We're gonna hide these meshes, stream in this part of the map, right? Stream out that part of the map, put on, like the letterbox and whatnot. Play a cutscene, and then when it's finished, go back. So that's something else you could use it for.
Why would you use this event graph rather than just using apply the file?
To use which now?
Oh, why wouldn't you use just a blueprint in a separate file that is running?
You could. It depends on how much control you want for it and how much you want to customize something. Because if you have a blueprint that's very, very, very specific for just one use scenario, that's fine. You can do that. Just from what we've found so far, it's easier to do very specific things in the level when we have access to stuff like this. Because some things you really can't daisy chain together. About like walking trigger and this happens, that happens, that one happens. That means that we have to have an individual blueprint for all those things when we're only going to use them once. If that makes sense. So it depends on what you're doing. If you find it that it works better for you to actually make it into an actual actor blueprint, go for it. If you need to use it like this, that's a great way too. For example, has anybody seen the behind the scenes for Jedi Fallen Order?
Oh, I have not. Where's that at? On YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's a really cool video. It goes their process and them bring all the people on board and them getting the project together. And Disney came and said, hey, or EA came and said, hey, do y'all want to make a Star Wars game? And they were like, yes, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of the exact same person. Yeah, but they used Unreal 4 for that project. And what is cool is they have some very, very, very small glimpses at their blueprints. And you can see their map where they put all of their triggers and stuff where they're interacting. Someone's like, hey, when you walk up into this spot, BD, what's his name? BD1? I don't remember. No. Yeah, BB8 and BD. I don't remember. He gets off your shoulder, right, and goes and scans something, comes back. So let's say that's a blueprint, right? Well, maybe they also want Cal to say something, and then something else trigger off of that. So, but they show kind of their background stuff, and they're using their level blueprint for very specific instances to get something working. Just one scenario that they know they're never going to use again.
Nice.
So this isn't required. This is just another way of going about it. So if you need it, that's how you can set it up.
Then you delete the level, lose this.
Huh?
Then you delete the level and lose this code.
Lose this code forever, yeah. So yeah, so there's pros and cons to using this. But if you already have your blueprints set up, you know, it's not hard to add something else into them, so you can have this part up and running. All right.
So how do you get like a second one in there though for that, like to respond to that exact same trigger?
Are you talking about for this part here?
Yeah.
Well, we could have more things attached on the other side. Is that what you're talking about, or?
Well, as far as using that same one to like if you wanted to have multiple launches that go different heights or whatever.
Now, yeah. See if that.
Because it only works for like the one, right?
That only works for in that one example, yes. So let's say if you needed, I need a blueprint for all of these to do that,
Right.
and you can make a child blueprint based off trigger base, and then just make it a jump pad,
Okay.
and add that logic there, because you're using it in multiple places.
Okay.
So yeah, this is kind of like a different direction. This is less about being modular and more about like, you know, you're really one-off, you know, high points of the map or whatever. Very, very specific. Does anybody have any questions about how dispatchers work? No? Pretty straightforward? Alright. Next part, we are going to take a look at enums.
Enums?
Enums.
Never heard of that.
Dispatchers only work with the level
No, they work with whatever.
with whatever.
They work with whatever. I was contemplating having y'all make a health system, just for fun. Do y'all? Would anybody be up for that?
I already did it.
To make a health system?
Yeah, do it.
Like a health system?
Do it right now.
All right.
Speed blueprint?
I wasn't sure about doing that because it takes a little bit to set up. All right. All in favor of doing that?
Hey,
All right.
Yay? What's
Yay.
what's the O thing?
All right. Now, I guess this is a good tie-in though, because Eli's like, well, what else could you use this for, right? And I am actually going to get rid of the one that I have here because I didn't realize I had one.
What the hell?
Whoops. Go away.
You need to remake it.
Bam.
Remember how to define it.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we've got our blueprints folder, right? Right click. New folder. Components.
We're gonna make a widget with this one, or just like an actual dying extend?
Well, do you remember all the things that are inside of our components tab over here, right? Like when you go to add component, add a light or a shape or, you know, anything that's in here, right? You can
Yeah.
create your own custom ones to do things. So on the side of this components folder, we're going to make a health system component. So right click, blueprint class, and then there's one that says actor component.
The first one? Oh, the actor.
Actor component, not scene component, but actor component. Alright, we've got that. See how it looks like a little plug or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're basically plugging this into another blueprint. And it doesn't matter what it is because it's its own system, it's its own component. It's like making a little Lego brick, right? Remember we watched that video earlier about the keep it stupid simple, right? Let's say if we wanted a bunch of things to have a health system. I don't want to go and do that for each blueprint, right? I just want to make one, and then I could attach it to all of them, right? And we're going to use an event dispatcher on this one to show you another way of using it. All right. I am going to create a new function in my health system. And we're going to call this setup health. Or you could just say initialize, I guess. I want to use 2 floats over here. One's going to be called current health, and the other is going to be called max health.
And the variable is correct.
Excuse me, max health, not max helath, because I'm dyslexic. Okay,
Max health and what else?
max health and current health.
And get float.
All right, I'm going to drag in max health and do a get, like that.
What does a set do?
Which one?
What does a set mean?
Set means we're actually going to change the value of it. Get means we're asking, what are you currently?
So wouldn't you just be able to? Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Okay. So for example,
What is set that? Can you still set the value and talk about the details?
yeah, you could set it here. What I want to do is, I actually need 2 different variables to detect, let's say for later on if you did a health bar or something like that, or the player goes up to their maximum amount, we need to know what that value is, otherwise it'll just kind of keep on going forever. But for doing this, we're going to take max health, we're going to see what that value is, and then we're going to update our current health as soon as we start the game to that.
How did you get the purple?
Did a plus function over here. You already have a purple right here.
Unless you,
I don't know. Did you hit the function button? Okay.
unless you play Dark Souls and
Okay.
then you don't
There you go. All right. So yeah, in our function, we're gonna say, hey, what is our max health currently at? 100 or whatever, 50, whatever number you want that to be. Okay, we're gonna take that number, that value, and we're gonna change the value of this one to match this. That's the same if I came over here and I knew what the number was and I typed it in, right? The computer doesn't care what that number is, right?
Right.
We could have 9,001. That's not 9,001. That's like 90,001.
So
Over
it doesn't
9,000.
matter what you put in there because once you plug in the max,
Yeah.
you override it.
The computer doesn't care what the logic is, but the computer can do calculations a lot faster than we can. At least anybody that we know. What? Which one? You can pull it off and then set.
Or alt drag.
Yeah, alt drag is set, control drag is get. Or you pull a pin off and type set or get and then the value. So set current health, like that.
Set is for values and get is for reference.
Yeah, this is referring to what it is right now. And when you set it, we're gonna change it. You need to change the type here.
To float.
Yeah, to floats. We're using floats with numbers with decimals just because that's what the built-in damage system uses, not integers. So,
So on the right side where the variables are at, Austin, it should say right there.
did you click and change this one? Yeah. Okay, you're good. All right, so we're gonna hook that up, and then hit compile and save. Now go back to the event graph. Have you noticed that there's something missing from our component here? What do we not have?
Event tick?
No?
Oh, a viewport.
Yeah. There's no viewport. Did y'all notice that? There's no viewport and there's no components tab, because this is a component, but this is all for logic. This is all for, hey, please go and do this, right? Yeah, nothing physical. All right, so I'm going to drag setup health, my function that I created, right? It does this. I'm going to drag it in here and hook it up to begin play. Okay. Okay, so as soon as the game starts, yeah, you can get rid of tick. Do y'all know what event tick does? Did we talk about that?
It goes on forever? Or it just
Pretty much.
it repeats it over and over and over?
Event tick means please do this once every frame.
Oh my
And it
god.
continues ticking like.
So, for example,
If you want to count the frames that passed.
mhm,
Frame.
yeah. We used to do this kind of stuff in Unity with C#, and one time we were spawning like boulders that would fall from the sky and hit the player or whatever. We made this mistake of putting it on tick,
Oh god.
and it was just like crash.
Yeah, I had to go back in my level and change some of those events.
Or if here's an example. Who did anybody actually play Fallout 76 when it came out?
Yes.
Yeah. Do y'all remember that bug where you would run faster if you were looking at the ground?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
that's because the frame rate was tied to, or the movement speed was tied to a tick. So if you look down, you're not rendering anything.
Oh, wow.
Frame rate goes up. Whee! If you look at the scene and it renders normally, it slows down.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. That was supposedly one of the things.
The time
Because like my PC wasn't as strong, I would just
Was
look
it?
up and the frames
Oh my
like,
god.
try to
go
run
on
it
smoother.
today.
Wait, how long ago was
We
this?
don't be averaged by the enemy.
Oh my god.
Based
Yeah, that's awful. Oh my god. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you get enemies, it's
That's
frame
not-
rate drops.
So my rule of thumb is don't use it unless you really have to. It's like, it's very specific uses. If you want to update something over time, but it's not doing a whole lot of math, that's okay. The only way to check and see is to see if your frame rate goes down. If it starts getting choppy and stuff and sluggish, you know something's not right. So usually it's an event tick somewhere, or somebody has something that's going off all the time, right?
Change for everybody if they have different frame rates.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see it as very reliable.
Well, yeah, it depends on what your target platform is and stuff, right? Because consoles will run at a certain speed. PCs, that's a whole different story. So, people could have a high-end $5,000 computer, or they could be playing off of McDonald's Wi-Fi with a potato machine. You have no idea. Potato machine. All right. So rule of thumb is don't use tick unless you have to. Just think about it like as a nuke. That's your last resort, right? The only way to win is not to use tick. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna create another function here. All right.
In the health system, right?
Yeah. And then we're going to call this take damage. Take damage. Is that French? I don't know. We're just making up stuff now.
And
Now, I need to know how much damage is incoming, right? What variable type should I add as an input? A float, because these are floats, right? So I want to add a new input. So if you click on here, new input, I'm going to say damage amount, or damage amante.
that's a float too.
I don't know what language that is. Yes. And then we changed it to a float. Bless you. Bless you. Damage amount. Now, I'm going to do this part really quick, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. So if you get stuck, it's okay. I'm going to stop at some point, and then hopefully y'all can catch your breath. On your mark, set. I didn't ask if you were ready. We're just going to go. All right, here we go. How about now? Can you hear me now? Am I?
What is that? Greater than or equal to?
What does this even mean?
I know all of them.
Is your current health greater or equal to what you're taking?
This is a greater than or equal to node.
Yep. I'm good with that.
Yay, you're finally using all that stuff you learned in 8th grade, and then you're like, I'm never going to use that ever again.
We'll talk right.
Oh.
We'll talk about
Oh,
it sometime.
you finally. I don't know. Whenever you learned this and you actually used it. All right.
I'm done.
You're done? All right.
For like greater than like elements, but
It's about time we used that. I was gonna get mad if we didn't. I've always liked math.
I got the greater than or equal to equal to.
What is that equal to right there? That one right there?
You're doing a wonderful job.
Oh, is that minus?
Which part?
The second.
This one? Yeah, that's a minus.
I got the current health there. Okay, no screen peeking. It's cheating.
Trust the minus touch. Sorry, not minus, but minus. Never mind. That sounds like a lead balloon. I'm getting glares. That's not good.
It's spelling damage right. I don't know why this seems wrong right now.
DAMAGE.
It feels. It just. I don't know why. It feels like.
Damage is also damage.
The mage.
So if somebody asks you, what do you want to play for D&D this week? You say, like, I would like to create a damage. Play as damage. Yes. Actually, it's a plus, but the vertical part ran away.
Oh, okay. How do I get that?
The minus key on your keyboard.
But if it, when you learn the colors, you know that's a float right there.
Yeah, so these are all like matching the colors, right? So a minus here, and it has two bright green inputs and green output. That means it's for a float, right? Hmm?
The float minus.
You just type in float and then type in minus.
Well, see, here's the thing, Austin. For you to be able to do this stuff faster, go from left to right. I pulled in my current health and then pull a pin off. Minus. It's at the top. Because it's context sensitive, that's right. Context sensitive is your friend and your enemy. If you're looking for something on another blueprint, you got to turn that stuff off, right? If you're trying to do stuff really fast and it's all kind of interconnected and whatnot, it's like bam, 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 bam. Leave it on. Just hit the key of what you're looking for. Find it, hit enter. Sometimes these have the keyboard shortcuts, right?
Yeah, that sensitive thing is weird. Sometimes it'll be there if you have it on, sometimes it won't.
Right.
And it'll be vice versa on like the tutorial sometimes.
Yep. So, can somebody attempt to tell me what this means?
Oh, I don't know about all that.
The damage is larger than your health, then set it to 0. Now it's subtracted from
Subtract it. Yep. Oh, is that what you're going to say, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Same thing? Okay,
I
cool.
was gonna say
Same
something
page.
similar.
Say that same thing.
Out.
I'll-
Sure. You didn't raise your hand.
I was thinking it.
You were thinking it. You know what? I can't think your thoughts, so I can't hear your thoughts either. They're silent. I can't see it.
Another way to do it as well. You just look for a negative value and then set it to 0.
Yeah, how do I do the mine?
How do I convert
Subtract it, and if it's negative, then you
Yeah, you could do that too. Yep.
'Cause I have a system on mine.
We just got in the habit of doing this because we used to have an issue where it would kind of keep going. It would like skip over 0
Oh.
and keep going. It's like, where's your health bar? I'm getting health packs, but my health bar is now. Oh, there it goes.
So when you.
And then there was no cap, so it just kept going and going and going. But the bar was just like this. It's like I'm taking damage. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. So it's good to have boundaries, right?
Professor.
To have boundaries.
Set.
Set current health.
Oh, it could be doing.
So if you're doing like you have ability to heal yourself, how would you stop it from if you have the widget and HUD filing? How would you stop it from the 100 to go up? Like once it hits 100, you can't use that health region anymore to stop that count.
So Michael asked, if I have a health bar, how do I prevent it from going past the max health? So it basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So with the health bar, in Unreal it's a progress bar, and it goes from 0% to 1%, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's current health divided by max health?
Complicated.
It's a number. Let's say your max health is 100. All right. Somebody, an orc runs over and hits you with a goat, and then you take 50 damage. How much health do you have now? 50 damage or 50 health. What percentage of that do you have left out of your total health? 50. What is that number between 0 and 1?
0.5.
That's where this comes in. Current health divided by max health is the value between 0 and 1. So when you're on a health bar, you can just tell it, hey, here's the new percentage based off of this.
The widget.
Yeah, you can tell the widget to update, right?
The progress widget.
Yep.
Okay,
So that's why we have a min, or not a min, but a max. And then you also ask for, and I've gotten mad. Programmers have gotten mad at me for doing this before, but I don't really care. What's an easy way to heal yourself using this?
Like using this, just put a command key.
No.
Or, no.
If the damage is positive, my health goes down. What if it's negative? It goes up. Yeah. So if I apply myself negative damage, I'm healing myself. So you could use the same system. But for some reason, the programmer didn't like that. I didn't care. But, it works. Yeah, and you just have another one to check if you're going the opposite direction. That's exactly right. All right. So we have all this stuff done, right? Now, which one of these options here, true or false, is where the player or the entity is like, bleh?
Can I ask a favor?
Yes.
For the layman, going left to right, can you, like a conversation, explain to me what he's saying? Like, read this out.
Okay.
Like, you said, what does this mean? One more time for me, just so I can.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
So we'll go node by node.
Yeah.
Take damage, right? And then it goes to the branch, and we're going to test to see if this is true or false. And the condition that we're testing is the damage incoming greater than the amount of health you currently have? Yeah. So the greater than, remember, you read the greater than, less than from left to right. So the Pac-Man mouth, if it's big on the left, that means it's greater than. If it's small, it's less than.
What you have, it's going to be 0. Yeah. So if it's greater than your current health, then you have 0.
Yeah, because if you have 50 health and I hit you for 60 health,
You're
you're done. It doesn't matter what, unless the game design requires for something else.
So it goes to the condition. Yeah, if it's true, it's this, and if it's false.
If it's false, then we're just, let's say you have 50 health and I hit you for 10, you're not what?
Dead. You're not dead.
No, not 40, and then another 10, 30, 20, 10, and then it goes to 0. It's greater than or equal to. It matches.
But the player still won't disappear. You still have to destroy items.
What is
No.
minus proportion?
Hmm?
How does the minus proportion work? So it's like, if it's false, if it's not greater than your total health, then it's minus what you have. Like, where is the actual?
So this is what I have right now. So this is 50. How much damage did we take in? We got 10. That's this number.
Right, whatever it is.
So this 50 minus 10 is what?
40.
So this is now 40.
Set to 40. Okay.
And we're going to do it again.
Set, yeah. Got it.
Now it's 40 minus 10, now it's 30.
But we have a
Set literally means I want to change it to be something else. But we're doing it with math. Because I don't want to do that math in my head. Using values of 10 is not bad. But what if this was like Diablo style, 456,000? Plus you have a perk that allows you to do, magic resistance. Right? On top of all that.
Oh, that's a lot.
Do you want to do that in your head like a dungeon master, or do you want to let the game do it? Because they can do calculations faster. We just have to tell it what the logic is. Right? Yes.
So I can make sure I'm.
Uh-huh.
So you got, so on the event of taking damage, it goes to a true false statement. The condition for the true false statement is if damage taken is greater than or equal to your current health,
Mm-hmm.
you die.
Yeah.
And you set to 0 health.
Yep.
And then if it's false, you so it's so if
You have.
current health is.
Yeah, because it won't kill you, but it'll kind of whittle you down.
Then how does it go to the next to the keys below it? How does it go to the minus?
Because it's connected here. This is saying, hey, please set this value to whatever it's connected to. Well, what is this connected to?
Oh, so it goes
Oh, this minus, yeah. So it's still reading left to right. Remember, you follow, instead of the yellow brick road, you're following these little white triangles, right?
But it's replacing that current health value, moving it.
We're basically replacing it. But it's doing some math to get there, right? Anybody else have a question about how this works? Hurt your brain a little bit?
The variable damage amount.
It's really cool. This is cool. It makes sense.
We in the hang of it? Yeah, it'll make a little bit more sense when we actually try it.
You said to make it a healing one, just make the take damage negative.
Yeah, if it's negative, what happens? It has the opposite effect.
That's how I did it on
Because
mine.
let's say Chris has 50, right, HP, and then I throw him a health potion that does negative 25. Now what are you at?
35.
Yeah, you're at 75 now because 50 plus negative 25
Is
is.
that how you did it in the traps for the project dev?
Hmm?
Did he do it differently in project development for the damage on the traps?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I don't know if they did it the exact way. Oh, I said that wrong. Not plus negative 25, minus negative 25. All right, so we're gonna add a couple more things here, and then we're gonna test it out. All right, so current HELATH, current health. Do this. Like that. Can everybody still see that? It's good. Is it better?
What was that? It just makes it. What is that?
Print string.
Just drag it.
It's a connector. So it's a converter. So if you just drag it over here, it'll convert it. Yeah. Well, I don't want to know how that works. I want you to go from numbers and math and conspiracy stuff. Turn it into text. Yeah. Conspiracy theory. Y'all haven't seen that thing, Charlie Day with conspiracy theory guy? He's like, look at all this. He's got all the. Yeah. So I'll turn that into something that we can read. And the string just prints it out to the screen, right? So remember we did the Hello World stuff a while back? It's the same thing, except we're just plugging in whatever this value is after we take damage. It's actually going to show up on the screen. So you can test it, like a debug. You look like you're going to say something. No? Okay.
I'm just amazed that you have this converter.
Huh?
Like the converter is like what
Oh, you're in awe that this is.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is something.
Don't you like Unreal now?
That's
Yeah.
the most amazing part of this whole thing.
This is the best thing since sliced bread.
Wait, what?
What?
So that's not a normal thing. Like that's just.
No.
This Unreal Matrix.
If you had to do that in code, that would.
I would've-
But here it's just like boop.
I'm like the new generation kids, like born with the technology. And you're like.
Craziness.
I don't code.
What?
I blueprint.
All right. All right. Now, I'm going to copy this up here, except this one I'm going to say
Alive.
dead.
Well said. I wish he was.
I spelled it phonetically.
What does that even mean?
Control C, Control V.
Phonetically.
Yeah, Control C, Control V to copy nodes. I think you can also use Control. Yep, Control W, because who picked Control W?
Does it say
Because
dad?
double U's, I don't know. Because it starts with the letter D, I don't know. Dead. All right, so the top one, that entities. W. W. Double U.
Yeah. Oh, that kind of freaked me up a little bit.
Ed Nitty, yeah. All right, so this one is bleh, and this one is ouch, basically, right? Now, do you remember with those event dispatchers?
Yes.
We're going to use some cool stuff here. I like this part because this is cool. So I did the Smithers sound. It sound nothing like him. Make a new event dispatcher and call it on death dispatch. Or just on death, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're going to drag it over here, and we're going to do call. And then we're going to connect it. Right there.
Do we need to set the target?
Nope. Because the target is itself.
Oh yeah, because it's a component. Yeah.
Is this a modular blueprint, or is this a specific blueprint?
I want to say modular
Why is it modular?
because it's a component blueprint. You can take around like
You can use it for multiple things. So instead, let's say if you blow up an exploding barrel, it plays a sound effect and it does a little AOE and then, poof, and then it's gone, right? What if a character dies? Maybe like they like derez or they have a chance to come back, right? Those are a little bit different. Would we want to put both of those systems into here? No. We want to make the baseline generic system here, and then we'll let them take care of the rest. Do you remember that KISS thing we were talking about earlier?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. All we need to know in here, hey, you took damage, hey, it died, or whatever else. If you got healed, who did it, that kind of stuff. Yes. Yeah, basically it's saying you died, and then like, oh no, you know, like you're playing as kids or whatever that Doom video, the baby Doom, and then he shot him with the water gun. He's like, oh, ouch, oh. Basically that's what that's doing. It hurts, yeah.
So do you would put this function or this formula like in a lot of different things? Like,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
it would almost be there.
You could use it for whatever you want. I could attach this to a pressure pad if I wanted to. I don't know why you'd do that, but you could.
I wish the people at Tutorial would explain more fundamental blueprints like this.
Yeah, I wish that too for the last 4 years.
That's why I really like your teaching. Blueprints
Thank
are
you. I
modular,
appreciate that.
Like you said.
I appreciate it. There are actually a lot of good Unreal Blueprint tutorials out there.
Yeah,
But then there's also a lot of far and in between. It's like, what? And then people were like, let's put all this inside of the level blueprint.
bro.
Let's put it here, and then we can never use it again. You know, because reasons. Or when people put, the one that bothers me the most is when people make AI, and they put it in the level blueprint.
Oh my god.
Like, people in the comments, can I use it in another level? Good luck. I guess you copy all that. I don't know. Nah.
Would it port over correctly when you did that?
Is it worth finding out? Nah. That's why we have that, like, guys, like, no, I don't want that. All right. Let's go find the third-person character real quick. Yeah. And then open him up. I forgot we had player die in here.
Is there a class that covers this animation blueprints?
Maybe in the I'm gonna get rid of all that.
Yeah, that's too crazy. I know there's an animation original.
Yeah.
So far, it's been about Maya.
Yeah. Oh, is this the ragdoll stuff we did last time? I think so.
Oh, I did do that.
I don't want to get rid of that. I want to keep that. All right. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The third-person character blueprint. If you find it in your map, you click on it, press Control B. That's the hotkey for finding something in the content browser. And then just open it up. Alright, let's go to the Components tab. And guess what? We just made our own. So go ahead and type it in the search box. And then add it. Right here, the green button. Health system. The one you just made.
Right.
You type in health system? Yeah. Find it? There we go. All right. Yeah. Now, sometimes these are funky. I think the newer versions have fixed this, but sometimes these will end up in this list up here. So it's kind of hard to find. Usually they're below this. You see that line right there?
What's the line above? Or what's the section above?
So these are kind of things that you can add that are kind of like built into the engine, and then stuff down here are very, very specific things that either you create or it's a something that the Epic made. So this is one of their components that's written in C++ for moving around. So that's why it's down here. It says character movement logic. But there's our health system. So once you add it, hit compile, and then click on it. And then go over to the right side. Look at the properties. Do you see the current health, max health? Yeah? Don't worry about the on-death dispatch. It says 0, right? Don't worry about that. But here's the coolest part. Go down to where it says events. You see the green buttons?
Yes, sir.
What does the first one say?
On death dispatch.
Yeah. Click on that button. What does it do?
It gives you a
And
graphic.
yeah, go to the event graph. It added a new event for us. You can do that in any blueprint that has this health system on it.
Oh, nice.
So now, what happens when the player dies? I don't know. I don't care. That's what the health system says. But the player says, oh no, I ragdoll and then I blow up. I'm like, oh, this part? Yeah, what's up? This? What are we looking for? We clicked on the health system, and then we clicked on death dispatch.
So have like
Are you
this,
clicking on the right one?
or
Oh,
any
hit
of these
compile.
guys would be-
Hit compile.
He'll be
And then
able
click
to
on
be
it.
like, I need you to
Click on this one. Yeah, click on the health system, and you should see it over here. Did you click compile here? Go here and see if it's compiled. Health system. Lies. I don't believe you. Unreal doesn't believe you either. There you go. All right.
Can we move on, Austin?
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Ha ha. Health system. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Right. So the component doesn't care
Right.
what it's just saying. Please run this and then be done. Right. Now, how do we get this to work with ours? We've got an event here that says, "Hey, you're done for." Right. You've reached the end of the line. I think did you all have this part in here where it's like
I didn't get
a ragdoll and open the level again? We don't have any of that. We won't do this whole part right here just now. You can do print string and then maybe type something in here if you wanted to. I'll do Dark Souls style. You died.
You a joke.
there was somebody that his level design 2 blueprint project from back, was it last summer? It was kind of like a rolling ball game, and if you ran out of time or whatever, yeah, big text would come out on the screen that says, "You suck," and other things. But yeah, we're in the third-person character. Yeah. All right, so there's our on-death dispatch. So the player's technically died. It says, "You died." Now, how do we get this to run that function called take damage? Right? How do we do that? Well, all we need to know is if he actually took damage based on the built-in system that Epic made for us, which is this. So in the event graph somewhere, type this. Type that.
What is that?
No, we're not supposed to do that, right? It's only this, not that.
I can't see that.
Oh,
Does it say event?
like
anything?
this.
Any damage, yep.
Like this. Do you want to sit closer to the front? You're good? Okay.
No, it's a little blurry.
Yeah, it's the resolution of my monitor here. It kind of flickers a little bit if you stare at this one for too long. All right. So we have event any damage, right? This is built into the editor. You can use this anywhere. Sometimes people will create their own ones. I like using these just to get something up and running. But see, here's how much, right, that we deal damage to. So do this. Take your health system, drag it into the graph, right? So this is this a getter or a setter?
Get.
Get. This is a getter. We're grabbing the information, right? Now, what function inside of the health system do we want to run?
Current health.
Which function?
Take damage.
Take damage. So pull a pin off here, and then type in the name of the function that you want to run, like that. Take damage. This. we have to kick you out now? Is that what we're gonna have to do? Mr. Todd Howard over here is giving us some attitude.
He was in the chess club.
He's in the chest. See, and then there's our value, right? Hooks right up.
Did you? Yeah.
And that's all we have to do.
Did we put in a value yet for the damage taken?
Everything just works. It just works. See? Yeah, see? There's a quote. It barely works.
We haven't put in a damage.
But give it 2 or 3 years and we'll finally add NPCs that will talk to you. Sometimes it works.
That's your job, Modders.
Alright. That's actually pretty funny. Just play it. And then buy it again on every platform.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Which
too.
I did. I'm sorry. No, I'm talking about Skyrim.
On Fallout 76?
Like all of them except PlayStation.
I was just bringing them
Buy it
back.
on your smart TV.
I have it on my Alexa.
I have it.
Huh?
Are you gonna buy it? Or is
For my what? VR set? No. Okay, so I don't have it all. Excuse me, Eli. Huh? Oh, PlayStation VR or whatever?
They
No,
need
that
to
was
do
just
that
should
DLC.
have everything except for
Except everything except I don't have PlayStation or
What?
that. Yeah.
Why isn't
I have it
that
on
VR class?
Calm down, Michael.
Why isn't that VR class part of the program?
Because VR is
Maybe one day.
It's not
Hint,
big yet.
hint. Hint, hint.
When it's a
Hint,
Ready
hint.
Player One, that's when we gotta.
Okay.
School on it.
Yeah. Okay. So this just works. Now, the only thing we need to do, right?
In and out?
Yes, we need something to damage the player. So let's go to our blueprints folder and let's go to. Oh, you want the door to damage the player?
Explosion box. We got like explosion box. Oh, we gotta stand near the pad, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's.
But the pad just died. Touching.
I'm trying to decide. Kind of want to do the exploded box, but then I kind of also want to do like a spike pit. What do y'all have a preference over?
We could take a
Spike pit? Spike pit.
you just
Spike
run
pit.
the-
All right.
what call it?
Oh, the mic is in the way. I can't see where the trigger base is. There it is. All right. Let's right click on that one. All right. See, we already created the trigger base once. I don't want to do that again. We're gonna use that logic for something else. So right click on this one. Create child blueprint. Keyword blueprint. Let's do spike trap. Aha.
You can build the little mesh in here, right? Really, right?
Yeah.
Or would you prefer? Would you recommend it just building it in the editor,
What?
like when we put the little static meshes here?
You can do it in here. I'm not gonna go overboard with that. I might just do like 3 or whatever, or 4. Yeah. All right. So here's our spike trap, right? Event graph. Let's come over here, and then does anybody remember how we find the trigger activated function and override it in here? Because that's on the parent. What do I click?
override on function.
Yeah.
That's right, override. Because this, if you see up here in the top right corner, it's really hard to see. There's a little green flashing thing, which is really annoying. Go away. Parent class, trigger base. It has a little wrench, which means you can edit that blueprint or tell me what the parent is, right? So this one has a function in here that the children of this, child blueprints of this blueprint will listen to. And then we can override it here. So override, let's do that one. And then what we want to do is we want to apply damage.
Oh, we got a lot of damage stuff in here.
What do we hook up into damaged actor?
The house or third person character?
What if I only wanted to deal damage to something that's actually walked through the...
Like an object?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Could.
actor?
What am I missing on here that we haven't added yet?
Get player location. Get player pawn.
We don't have an input for what walked through it. What activated it. let's do that real quick. So go to your trigger base. Everybody still following along?
Yes.
All right, go to trigger base. See, y'all getting faster. That's good. Right here it says trigger activated. Find that in the overlap section of your blueprint graph. Find this part here. It should be right before the for each loop, right? So click on this, and then let's add an input over here. And I'm just going to type in, this is only for player, right? I think so. Yeah, we're going to see if it's the player. So I'm going to type in player for the input, and then for this part, I'm just going to type in actor as an object reference. So now it should be blue.
Then we drag that out.
One more time. Should we look an input looks like this. Actor. Actor, yeah.
Would you get the
Active actor.
and the player?
Yeah, just actor, and then the one that says object reference. And that's the blue one.
That's how you make lemonade.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There are many blue ones.
Yeah, if I said actor. Oh, I accidentally hit the enter key.
Are you clicked on the trigger activated?
Is it this one right here? It says actor object reference. Hmm? I don't know. I've never used that.
What?
I guess it must be squishy.
What is?
He said, "What is a soft object?" I have no idea. You got it?
Maybe something with like a
Oh,
like a flag. Or
I didn't
something.
change mine because
I'm not sure. Maybe
I
something
messed it up.
bounces that has physics.
Now what do we put in here?
Give player character. Oh, duh, or you can do that.
Ta-da!
You did a actor in that component, right?
All right. So we did that. So now we know what walked through this, right?
Yes, sir.
Compile, save. Go back to your spike trap.
So wait, how did you get the event trigger activated?
Override. And then trigger activated. Remember, because this one is on the parent, but we left it empty on the parent for this very reason. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that. We left on the parent blank so that we could override it inside of the children. And then we have our targets, and then we have event dispatcher if you want to use it in the level blueprint. So it's multi-purpose. Now, if you go back to the spike trap, do you see this input right here? Or this, now I guess now an output. Hooray, where do we put this?
Damage actor?
Aha. How much damage should we do? 20. You mean 20,000? No, okay. That's true. I mean, but if you want to just totally obliterate them. 101? Yeah, there you go.
Carry
Yeah.
the damage to the respawn. And they just keep dying.
They keep dying. Huh? We want to promote this. This base damage. So pull pin off. Promote. Spike damage. I'm going to turn the eyeball on. The instance editable button. And then Eli said 20, so I guess we'll use that. Or if somebody else wants to come up with their own number.
Or do 21.
21? Okay. Ooh. Aggressive. That's really going to hurt. Actually, the spikes that we had in Project Dev only did like 10.
Oh,
So I walked into it like, what, 25 times? And then it finally killed me, and then my character was like, whee! And it flew off the screen.
maybe that's what they were
Yeah.
fixing is how he died.
Yeah.
Because Jesse
Yep.
said he wasn't going to mess with that.
Yeah. Alright, so there's damage, right? Now, these last three, you can decide if you want to use these or not. Event Instigator is like, who did it? So that's using a controller. meaning your player pawn, right, has its own player controller, and that also has an ID. So, for example, let's say I'm playing as Paul, right, and then later in the game I get to play as Eli. Y'all are different character classes, right? But I still have the control. I still have the controller. It's like who did it, so it doesn't matter which one of you I'm currently controlling. I'm the person that did it. And the damage causer is like with what? So Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with the spoon, right? Or the rocket launcher, whatever it is. And then the damage type, probably a programmer will make those. You can make your own, but like, you remember in Unreal Tournament when y'all selected like what damage type it does for a hazard?
Oh,
If it was set to acid, your body would be like, "Ugh," and melt. Or if it was a crusher, your body would turn into little giblets or whatever. So that's the damage type here. So if it dies or has a certain effect, it'll run that, right?
Do they already have some plugged in
So
for
apply
the?
damage.
A couple.
One of those scripts.
Hmm?
Is apply damage another with C++?
This one? Yeah, that's built in. That's built in. I'm drinking some water real quick.
So most of the ones that are built in probably have those little icons in the very right corner of them.
Some of them. So like this one, if you have your mouse over it, it says server only. So if you're doing multiplayer stuff, this will only run on the server. You have to tell the other clients, hey, by the way, you took damage. Oh, okay. Ow. You don't want clients doing that because that leads to what?
Hacking.
Cheaters.
Oh, well, yeah.
Cheating. Yep. YouTube videos, yeah. Angry people on Rainbow Six Siege.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Wait, you want cheating, or you want making the videos about people cheating?
No, I'm the one cheating.
Oh, you're the one cheating.
And then-
Now we have that on tape. Thanks.
and then-
Halo Man is cheating at. All right. So, moving on.
Yeah, in a private lobby.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess that makes it okay. I don't know.
Who was that one kid who got banned from Fortnite again?
All right. I am going to. I don't really want to make these move up and down right now. I'll let y'all figure that part out. Which you could use a timeline for, right?
Yeah.
You could use a timeline to go whoosh, whoosh, right? With the sound effect, you gotta make sound effects.
I mean, he was making hella money from that.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. See, and then we have cones. Ouch. So hazardous. This is just a static mesh, says cone. Ow. Just drag this around a little bit. There we go.
I don't look so ugly.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Huh. That's goofy.
The hood.
That's, oh, yeah.
The stuff moves weird.
Yeah, it does. That's still something I'd like them to update. Maybe in the future.
Did they fix that in the new one for?
Maybe. I don't know. Alright. So there's our spikes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to turn all the collision off on these. So if you just select them all, your cones, your pointies.
Off the collision, you said?
Yeah. Just, I don't really want to walk into them. You can just, y'all can decide how you want to do this. But Control W.
Oh, okay. Well, let me do all.
Somebody is running away. Alright. Compile. Save. I walk into the box. I take damage. Hooray. There's my spike pit. It looks very not dangerous. They either need like blood on them or something, or like, I don't know. Yes.
What's the difference when you're adding components to the,
Th-
so you put them all there on the trigger, but like say if if I'm still selected on cone, I can add a cone in the cone, and does it just mean that they're grouped together? Like if I did add component and I have cone selected, it puts the cone like,
Oh, yeah, so that makes it a child
does it make the
component. Yes, because let's say I took all these cones, like what's the center cone? Cone, this one, right? If I take these 1 through 8 and put it under there, if I click the first one, these will come along for the ride.
You took the cone, then you took
Which is actually kind of cool too, because would you want to animate all these moving up and down? Maybe what if I just one?
So that's like how you group them when you're doing
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the little drop down area, you just take something and drag it on top of something else, and that's like parenting.
You took the collision off of them, right?
Yes, I did.
Or did you do overlap all dynamic? Or you did
I just turned them off.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here's our spike pit, right?
Yep.
Now I'm gonna run this, and it's probably not gonna work the first time. We're gonna see. Maybe we'll have luck. If it doesn't work, we're gonna go change the collision settings for the box. I think it should work though. Oh, okay. It worked actually it worked really well. We died.
What happened?
We died. You know what we forgot to set up?
One time only.
No. No.
What happened? Did it work?
No. Go to your third person character and then click on health system and see how much health they have.
Oh, 0.
Oops. We have 0 health to start with, so
And what did it do?
we have spawned into the world already dead, apparently. Never stood a chance. So yeah, this isn't a character, right? Click on your health system component, and oops. I hate doing this. It's in Unreal. It's usually a checkbox, or you didn't hook up the node.
Where? Which one?
Current health and max health.
Default. What's the max health? 1?
I'm gonna set them both to 100. You can set them to whatever you want. The only one that really matters though is max, because remember it updates it here,
Go back to the
right?
graph on that one.
It takes math and it sets current health based off of that. Which one are we
On
looking
the
at?
third person character.
Yeah,
the
see
event graph?
these? Oh, the event
So I
graph,
Make sure I have that right. Set up.
like that.
Health system, damage, target. Alright, that should work. Oh, do I have that on dispatch? Yeah.
Mine says
Should work
Jeffrey
then.
Epstein did not commit suicide. Is that a problem? That was the message I
Oh.
got from the last time.
Oh, hopefully that didn't pick that up. Oh god, I saw a good one this morning. I saw a real good one this morning.
It's working. I'm dying.
Here, Paul.
I'm dying. You died. You a joke. That is hilarious.
That's really bad.
Oh. No, let me read it. Let me read it.
That's bad. Messed up. All right.
Okay, he's still alive somewhere.
I thought it was funny. All right. All right. Now go into your map and see if it works. Does it print out the
Yeah,
damage
mine
value?
does.
So I have 100 right now. So when I walk through it, how much is it gonna take away if this is 20?
80?
80. Then what? 60. Goodbye. Oh, I'm still printing out. It's very polite, Spike Trap. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Ouch. Goodbye.
So if
20.
you wanted him to
Ouch.
do, like,
And then
do
you died.
If you want him to do
I'm
a
dead.
lag when he gets damaged, that would have to be his animation, right?
I want him to be like, ugh.
Like how we did the player in the project.
Yeah, so that would be an animation or whatever.
Okay.
Alright,
Or-
now, if you want him to actually like, ugh, and fall over, right? I'm gonna do this.
The ragdoll again.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get rid of you died since we know it works. Can I put this all on one screen? Maybe? Please ignore the hideous wires.
So do all over there. Okay.
I'm trying to put this all on one screen. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try.
I believe you.
I believe in you. Thanks, Michael. That means so much. Alright.
It should.
Okay, I should. Alright,
Delay.
do that.
Set simulate please.
Is that for ragdoll?
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Ragdoll and what?
It's mesh, right?
What does it do at the end? What does it do right here?
It responds them. Does it? Right.
It restarts the level.
So set simulate physics. That's for the mesh, right? And that's that capsule component.
No, you can't ragdoll a capsule.
Heard.
I mean, I guess you could, but we want to ragdoll the.
It restarts the level automatically.
Well, once it dies, yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, there's no respawning built into Unreal. You have to set it up. There's a way for you to. It's called reset play or something like that, and it'll set you back at the player start or whatever. But to actually like do that, we have to do it ourselves.
with save stuff in it. So whatever I did before, when I die, checkpoint, it still has the stuff I did save.
Yeah, I think we'll work on enums next time.
What are they called?
Enumerations, we call them enums for short. It's a drop-down menu.
I like that name. I don't get that.
Enums. Sounds like emus with an N. Enums.
You said the duration is 3 seconds, right?
You can put it whatever you want. There you go.
So what makes a ragdoll?
This part right here.
So how would you change it? The animation, if you wanted to change the ragdoll animation on the character.
Oh, they'd be like,
Yeah.
there.
Do you have to do
We
that?
could do play animation
Okay.
or play montage or change something in the animation blending.
That's if they have that animation for someone to
Blend
damage.
animation in?
Hmm?
You could blend an animation in?
Uh-huh.
On this blueprint, or you mean on the animation blueprint?
If we had an animation that was running for this blueprint here, we could have a state in here
Yeah,
that's like,
I barely,
Oh.
I barely understand that crap. I did barely.
death or whatever. And when he died, have it like play an animation here.
Yeah, the animation blueprint though, that's a lot. It does a lot of stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. This one's
So
simple.
Would blending be like if you're running, like you say you're playing FPS, you're running and then halfway you're running, you're reloading. Like you can do that standing still, and you can also do that running. So
Mhm.
it's like D2 animation.
So they have
After
layers
something
too.
like that too.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the
Yes.
You have to
kept
like
running
really
too
smooth it
after
out.
you
It's called a blend space, which just means you put different animations and you put
This
them
part?
together. They make it real smooth and stuff.
This one.
But I've touched a little bit, very little on that.
Okay, so I saw some people's screens like he's still trying to run, but he fell over. The reason for that, I believe, is your character mesh settings. So if you go to the viewport, I'm leaving this up for a couple people to finish it, but yeah, go to the viewport of the third-person character, click on the mesh, now go to the collision settings in the bottom right. Scroll down like halfway towards the bottom, yeah. And where it says the collision presets, click the little arrow next to it. Click the arrow next to it, and then there should be an option for one that says custom. And then underneath that, the object type, you need to change that to ragdoll or physics actor. It's like it's the bottom drop-down arrow, or bottom drop-down menu.
And that's on the mesh component, right?
Physics body?
Yes. Custom.
So it's a quick way to change it. If you go to custom for collision presets,
Right.
object type
Object type.
is physics actor. Is that what it says?
Physics body.
Physics body. I'm sorry, not physics actor. And I think that'll fix it. Let's see. There we go. The ragdoll. Now there's one other thing, and I'm not going to worry about it now. But your character is actually still moving around. Your capsule, you still have control over it, right?
That's so funny how you
But your body is kind of layered. It's like a very out-of-body experience, literally. Whee. Yeah, they play a third-person game, out of body. You're already out of body. Now you're out of body again. You have no control. You're out of all your body. Yep. Is it working, Paul?
Mine starts over.
He's still moving too.
Let's see.
Yeah, they got some cool animation little packs on Epic Games. It's free too for this guy.
Okay, let's see.
I want to mess with. But I gotta focus on one thing. I get too much into mechanics. You know, because you really have to start focusing on like one. You can't do that. You gotta master one specific thing.
Oh, no collision.
Jack of all trades, good for like 2 weeks, and then
Yeah, he wants someone who's a master.
All right, so your guy should just like, ugh, and then fall over. You don't ragdoll. All right, did everybody get this part?
Oh my god, I think he gets rocketed.
Did he?
Rocketed. I'm sorry, I'm horrible.
Did you see it?
What? Oh, did you put a launch on your thing? Or he just kind of went?
He just like
This is the settings that you want to change it to. So, change collision presets on your mesh to be custom, and then collision enabled should be the bottom one. It says both query and physics.
Query.
We are recording, sir.
Go watch this, Josh.
And then this one needs to be physics body. Yeah. Custom for collision presets right here. Now go down, down, right there. Yeah, custom, collision enabled, and physics body, and then your character should ragdoll, and it looks really good. Oh my god!
Right?
He went wee. I think afterwards you need to like do a slow mo for a second. Like no.
Do they have a slow mo thing in here?
Yeah, you can. It's called time dilation.
Nice.
So you could set the slow down and then you can speed it back up.
Oh, dude.
That'd be fun.
Yes, I did make that.
The collision enabled, you have that to this one, right? Awesome. Collision enabled for this one? Oh, object type, that should be physics body.
I'm gonna do that with my character, man.
Yeah, it's custom, collision enabled, and then object type is physics body.
We need to touch on. You're right, Josh. There definitely needs to be a lighting patch in here.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Cause I'd be running into so
Is-
many
oh.
damn problems with lighting. Yesterday I actually did a texture pull over budget.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I actually hit up Simon.
He can give you some tips on that. Okay.
Hmm?
Oh, really? And you did that for the mesh, right? Not the... Yeah. Okay. Is this what your graph looks like?
Make sure you have set simulate physics check.
Yeah, is that checkbox turned on? Event graph, yeah, right there. Is the checkbox turned on? This one right here?
Austin, we're in Unreal Engine 4.
Austin, we're not in Unity. Oh. Oh, okay. You
So
cannot be found there.
I would think it'd be relatively easy to put on, have the actor take damage from a fall. Would you just put like when he hits?
For that one, it might be like you're on the ground and then detect when you're falling, and then you could do it based on time or your vertical speed, and then if you hit something, say, what's my speed? Is it past a certain point? What's my terminal velocity, basically?
Okay.
Ouch, because if I jump off of a chair
Right.
or a table, that shouldn't do any damage. If I jump off a building and it goes 1, 2, 3, okay.
Okay. So
And then
usually
do-
based off time,
You
speed.
could be time, speed, something like that,
Does
yeah.
the character naturally build velocity when it jumps down?
Yeah, because there's acceleration, I think, somewhere in the
like
character movement. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that's some other stuff. There's a lot of neat things you can do with the character movement and whatnot. Did that work for everybody? Everybody ragdolled?
Yep.
Yay.
I like the little delay to actually ragdoll. So
Oh, yeah.
you're dead, you don't know it yet.
Oh, yeah. We could probably get rid of this part here.
So,
Yeah. I want to test that and make sure. Hang on a second. So, goodbye 60, goodbye 40. My character's not very bright. And then, oh, yeah. Okay, we probably don't need a delay in there. I didn't realize that. Why is that there? Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to be dead. Okay. Whoops. Wait, I died. Oh. That's like somebody on like a stage play be like, I fall over. Oh, yeah. He like ran into it and then.
No, I tried to launch my character and it launches the ball. The camera, not the character.
It launches the what?
The camera, not the character.
It launches the camera. So launch character does the capsule itself.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do the physics body, you have to apply physics to that just mesh itself. It's like add impulse or something. I think that's one of the physics ones. Yeah.
Launch character before it should work.
Technically, but it's based on time, so you might have to wait a second and then ragdoll it. Yeah. Yeah, things are very time sensitive in this engine.
So for this right here, since this character is this capsule character or whatever is already set up for you, is there a way to change the mannequin without having to do a whole new animation blueprint, new character capsule, and all that?
I mean, you could base your character off of this one,
Wait,
or
is there
you
a way
create
to
a new one.
Is there a way to change this one specifically, that mannequin? Or
Yeah,
have to
you
make
can
a whole
you
new-
can swap it out. You've got all the settings over here.
So okay, when you do that and you press play, sometimes it still spawns a mannequin. Why does it do that?
That's because there's already a character in the map.
Okay.
Remember when we did that thing with the player start in the game mode? Yeah. So if there's one in here, it's going to use this, right?
Naturally.
Yeah. If there's a player start, right,
Alright.
and nothing here, but we have our game mode set up, so like settings, world settings, and there's a game mode here.
Yeah.
Then I'll use that. So I could actually delete him, move the player start over here, right? No way, that's all scaled funny. That's weird. Why is that scaled? Okay. Huh. Alright, so let's say I hit play and I spawned right in front of... Oh, am I the wrong way? Or is this the wrong... Oh, -1. 1. Aha. There we go. There we go, right? So it's wherever my player start is as long as the character's not in here.
Right.
Now, if I wanted to right-click and play, I could do that now because I'm using the player start system, the game mode.
So like once you get rid of that mannequin, you will have to make though if it doesn't come with the animation blueprint, you have to make an animation.
Yeah, if you don't use a starter content or whatever, you got to make your own.
Because the mannequins won't work on whatever character else you're using.
You can add them to whatever else. It's just that blueprint might not be in the map.
Oh, so the mannequin animations work on other
Yeah.
character meshes?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
I mean, it's just a model, like the mannequin tab and animation. It's all
I was
separate.
thinking that too because of the packs they give. Some of the free packs of animations are all mannequins. I'm like, well, do you only have to use a mannequin?
Oh, I see what you said. That's animation retargeting.
Okay.
You can transfer as long as they have the same skill. Does anybody have any questions about the health system stuff? Other than doing crazy things to your player
Let's make a
and
look.
ragdoll.
Or is that a whole other thing?
Do what now?
Honestly, oh no. Oh no, what's next?
Uh,
Let's go ahead.
I guess if these exploded boxes blow up, we could have like an AoE, right? So have like a sphere around them that applies damage. That might be kind of cool. So for example, I'm gonna do this real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm gonna go to we're getting kind of late here. I'm going to. Oh wait. Yeah. What do I want to do? I don't know. Okay. Level blueprint. I'm going to get rid of that stuff so it doesn't launch me in the air anymore, right?
Yeah.
And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to the exploded box real quick just to show you what this is like. So I'm going to add a component here, and I'm going to do a sphere collision right there. And then I'm going to scale it up like that. Okay. And I'm going to call this Explosion AoE. I feel like all the stuff we're going to make in here is going to be like Michael Bay oriented. Alright. Alright, so there's our blast radius. Right, our AoE. I'm going to come down here and make sure that this is overlapping
What'd you call it? Explosion BP?
AoE, area of effect. Make sure it only overlaps pawns, so characters. And then when it's activated and it blows up, instead of it destroying immediately, I want to get everything that's inside of this sphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to add a reference to it in here and say get overlapping actors. That's what it is. Right? Oh, here's pop quiz. What is this?
Overlapping actors.
I know what it says, but what type is this? It's a grid.
Grid, yeah.
What is that called? So there's the letter A. Array.
Did you drag in the explosions to get the reference for that?
Yeah. So for all the things that are inside of the sphere here, I want to apply damage, right? And then I'll promote that. So blast damage. Right? And then we'll do, I don't know, 101. And hopefully that'll get me instantly.
It's
Right.
loop, but not the break rate. Is it break rate?
Huh? Oh yeah, we could do that too if we wanted to. Yeah, there's like what is that called? Yeah, it finds the rotation between 2 points.
What is that?
The
for
distance.
base damage? I can't see.
Blast damage. That's it. I promoted that.
Oh, you promoted it.
I promoted it. So it's gonna deal everything inside of the sphere with this much damage, right? 101. Yeah, you could have it go. Yeah, like a yeah.
Wait, what's connecting from the loop from the execution? Okay.
The stuff we did last time. Yeah.
I didn't know whether that was the destroy actor or not.
All right, so I'm gonna put one of these boxes right here, and I'm gonna turn the volume down. But when I walk over this, because this is targeting this box, I believe, right? All right, well, we'll just do this. We're gonna do that. So,
Set the blast damage to 100.
so it got me because I was inside the sphere, right? What if I was right there? Is it gonna get me? It shouldn't. Right?
Did you have to
Yeah,
set
and
the
I can't do
blast
it
damage?
again. So let's do that again. Ow! I know. You want to make it bigger? Yeah. I always like that one part in Monsters Inc. where they take the sock, the 2319. They found a kid.
Oh yeah.
They take the sock, and then the CDA, the Child Detection Agency, comes in, and they come and they take the sock and put it under this little explosion dome, and everybody's like, and then they push the button, and there's a very, very small, like, explosion. So you thought it was gonna be bam, but it was very, very small. It's pretty funny. All right. So yeah, there's a way to use an AOE. So health systems are cool. Components are great if you can use them. Dispatchers also awesomely great. Question.
Just whenever you get a second or later, can you throw up that explosion? I just want to do that whole thing again because I didn't. I think that's from week 1.
Oh, you're talking about this part?
We didn't have a video of that.
Okay. Yeah, this is based off. This is just an actor,
Right.
and I added a box to it. And I added in this part just now, right? The sphere collision. And then I changed the overlap settings here. And in the event graph, when it receives a message of activate, because we're using that interface channel, we're going to play a sound at the location. We're going to play the effect. And then here what we just added, we've got that sphere. Please get everything inside of it and deal damage to it.
How do we add the BP interface?
Class settings, and then you add it over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just listening for an event like this.
Okay.
And then we linked it up with our part here. I'm actually going to get rid
So
of
it's trying to
these.
remake the door to have it speak to something else with the trigger box. I couldn't remember where we got that BP.
Yeah,
I
that's
can find it because
it's in the
it was
class
already
settings.
in there.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Josh,
You know,
It's in the class settings, and then here, with our something that has the targets right, just add a new target, and then eyedropper, like that.
when you get the chance, can you put up the
Yeah.
pad?
All right. Is any other questions before we end the lecture? No. 1, 2, 3.